Welcome back to Color Class. I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And today we are determining how to pick your hair color based off your dominant characteristics.
Now, obviously, you're thinking, well, my hair color is my hair color. I didn't have much of a choice in the matter. But this little episode is to talk about if you are just dying for a new hair color.
I was going to say, you are always like, I need to get my hair cut. I need to color my hair. I'm tired of this.
I'm just tired of this whole
grandpa
Q-tip thing going on I got on my head. And I want something fresh and new.
Yes.
Well, so some of the research that is around picking a new hair color for yourself. I mean, everybody's a little nerve-wracking, and it's kind of more permanent than you want it to be unless you use a temporary rinse. And so we have some tips, just some things as color analysts that will help us pick
get you in the right direction.
Another color. And probably the biggest determining factor about a color that you choose is your warmth or coolness.
Or your neutrality.
Or your neutrality. Well, your neutrality makes it a little bit easier to shift. But basically, if you're warm, generally warm, eyes, skin tone, whatever. Let's say we're talking about a blonde. And you can choose between a warm blonde, a neutral blonde, and a cool blonde. Mm-hmm. And if you have, such as myself, neutral skin tone, neutralish eye color, and I tend to lean a little cool, then if I decide to go with a blonde, then I'm going to lean toward cool blonde. Mm-hmm. Now, if Sara decides that she's going to go blonde, she's going to lean toward warm blonde.
Well, I would lean toward neutral blonde. I wouldn't go warm. It's because of my eyes and my skin tone. My skin tone's neutral. My eyes are grayish, bluish, greenish. Mm-hmm. So I would lean towards a neutral blonde.
I think that you could handle something that just steps over into a little bit of a warm blonde.
Yeah. Just not going golden blonde.
Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. Not golden blonde. But if you think about it, you could wear strawberry blonde because you got a bunch of strawberry blonde in your hair. Oh, yeah. So if she decides to go strawberry blonde, she's got a guide, because all she has to do is say to a hairdresser, pick up this, pick up that.
Right.
That's an easy way to kind of transition yourself into another color. And I've been speaking of blondes, but what if we wanted to go deep?
I was going to say I would stay deep. I would not go lighter.
Well, pick your hair color using your dominant characteristics. So if you are a dominant, warm dominant, what I just said. If you're a cool dominant, what I just said. But light to deep, that's also a factor. So if you tend to be on the light side, like myself, then maybe, we're going to lean into the light. And I'll tell you why. Because my eyes have faded as I've aged. I'm 69 years old. My skin tone has faded a little bit. It's not the same kind of... I had Sarah's skin tone, so it's not the same. So I'm going to lean into something that's a little bit lighter, whereas Sara is going to lean into something that's a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, what's our last dominant characteristic?
Soft to clear.
Right. And, of course, we're going to lean into something that's a little softer for both of us versus something that's clear. So what do I mean by that? If you are a soft person, then think highlights. Think lots of variation in the tones of your hair. That will make your hair color tend to be a little bit softer. If you think about black hair and shiny black hair that's straight and all one color, that's clear. So if you're naturally a little bit softer, lean into softer hair color with lots of striations and color variations, etc.
So like softer eyes. If you have softer eyes, then go softer. If you have like very clear, bold, vivid eyes, go a little bit more intense with your hair color.
Or if you used to be, your color that you're changing from, that's a factor. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at your dominant characteristics now, obviously, you're going to look at a dominant characteristic for your hair color now. Look at all three. Mm-hmm. Look at a dominant characteristic for your skin tone. Look at all three. look at dominant characteristics for your eye color. Look at all three. If you are predominantly soft, what is that telling you? Pick something that's a little bit softer.
Right.
Now, how do you know if you're warm or cool?
Oh, isn't that the $1,000,000 question?
Oh, yeah. And so, then when we start hearing about people looking at the veins on their skin, we don't do that. One way that you can determine if your skin tone is warm or cool is through blush. Use a peach blush versus a rose blush. If the peach blush looks ridiculous on your face, then you're cool. If the rose blush looks ridiculous on your face, then you need something like that will turn gray if you're warmer in tone. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, there's always that neutral in between the peach and the rose, which is what I wear. The thing is, you don't have to go all the way to your final result in one fell swoop. For those of us who are softer, add some highlights to where you're going, that shade that you're going, highlights or lowlights, add those in.
Get there.
If you, so that it becomes not from here all the way to your end result, but so that you can stage it a little bit and get used to it and see. Because sometimes with hair color, if you go to a dramatically different result, you instantly don't like it because it's not something that you're used to.
You also don't have the clothing for it to make it work. Usually we find when you do big swift color changes like that, like very dramatic, it tends to be clearer because it's, like this one big pigment push into your hair. So yeah, I really like your idea of just easing into it if you're soft. If you're a softie, just softly go into it.
Well, the reason that we're having this conversation is because I want to do something with this hair on my head. I am tired of looking like Martha Washington.
You know what's so funny is you were mentioning your age earlier today, and I just wanted to say she's not wearing makeup. Like, she came in here, she was like...
I put on lipstick.
Okay, lipstick. She was like, do you think it's okay if I don't wear makeup? I was like, yeah, look at that. Isn't that crazy?
I love my daughter. I do. I love her to death. With your help, with my friends on Patreon, we're going to open it up to suggestions.
We'll have a poll.
What I can do with this hair. And then, we'll have a poll. Perfect. And then we'll start to, work our way into something else. My first thought was to add some lowlights so that I get some dimension in my hair because I've got it in the back. I've got some dark stuff happening, but up here it's just all white and I'm just over it. I'm so over it. Bottom line, I didn't mean to make this about me, but I did want to give you some tips. One tip that I haven't given you, the warm blush, cool blush, that is a really good tip. If you haven't done it and you've got sometimes these kits of things that you can buy at Ulta or whatever that have a bunch of different colors. That's a good way to be able to try the peach blush versus the rose blush and see which one melts into your complexion. If it sits on top of your complexion, forget about it. If it melts into your complexion and gives you kind of the perfect glow, then that's giving you the clue. That's what you are. And the other tip that I have is a white piece of paper. Because remember, we always say everything is relative. So if you're just looking at yourself in isolation and you're like Sara and I earlier today, we were doing some prep for videos and we were looking at a red and I said, oh, that red's cool. And she was, oh, no, it was reversed. I was like, that's a warm red. Sara was like, no, I think it's cool. I'm seeing cool. And we literally had to dig in with the color picker and see where it lived on the slider to see if it was closer to warm versus cool. It's kind of in the middle. So, we should be forgiven for that little bit of thing. Although Sara was correct. Sara was right about the red. So,
I mean, not to toot my own horn,
but color doesn't live in isolation. So the best way for you to figure out what's going on in terms of warm, cool, light, deep, soft, clear, is to have a white piece of paper on hand where you can look at the difference between this versus that.
Yes.
And that will help you enormously.
So I'm glad you got all these tricks out there because I really love the palette. Like just getting a palette and swatching to see really where your skin tone falls. That's the best way to do it.
It works for lipstick too. You can also use lipstick to determine whether you're warm, cool. Let me just say this because I should have said this before. Sarah has a neutral skin tone, but she can wear warm colored lipsticks because why? She got all this warm frame.
Only if my hair is out. If my hair is pulled back, then I cannot. It looks too yellow or it shifts too orange on me.
Right. Now, me, on the other hand, because I haven't got any warmth, any warm reference out here, and if I put on something that even the tiniest little bit of warmth, it just turns totally orange. I look awful. So, what does that tell you?
I was like, we should get out some orange lipsticks. And I was like, no, we shouldn't get out orange lipstick.
Well, you know what? I have no problem. I'll stick on an orange lipstick and you can take a snapshot of me in something that's...
Our thumbnail is you in an orange lipstick.
Oh, it's bad. But bottom line, what we didn't say is if you are neutral hair, what color dark hair can you go to?
I would go to neutral, like a medium brown.
I've seen Sara in a black wig.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
She looks a little Elvira-like.
Yeah, so I need to go for more of a neutral brown tone if I were going to do
and
that.
It's got, see, the thing is, dominant characteristics. What is she? She's a soft. So if she went pure black.
Way too clear.
Right. If she's going to go with the brown, she's got to go with the soft brown. And probably with some caramel highlights,
right.
A little bit of red.
If you'd like to make some hair changes, come on over to Patreon. We'd be happy to help you out. We have some really great color analysts there as well. So links are at the end of the video or in the description below. Also, if you would like to connect with us in any way, check those links down below. You'll have our website to our color portfolio. We would love to color analyze you. So lastly, I'm Sara.
I'm Lucinda.
This has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.